All right, so today it is my pleasure to interview Nancy and Dr. Mark from Private Label Surrogacy. So I'm going to start off with the question that I always start off with. Please tell us why you started your agency.
Well, I started my agency after being a nurse at a major Chicago hospital for 17 years, and I worked in OB, fertility, outpatient surgery, gynae, basically anything in women's health. And I actually started my agency. I didn't tell you this, but my best friend started an agency, and she and I were both nurses together. Her husband's a reproductive endocrinologist, and she said, you should look into this. It's really interesting. It's really cool. And I did. And I found third-party reproduction to be really interesting, rewarding, and I knew that I could make a difference. And so far, so good. I've been doing this for 23 years, and I've worked with over 2,500 families.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. That's awesome. So you're kind of already answered question two, how long? Because you've had a couple. So
Right.
How long has your surrogacy agency been around, and approximately how many cases do you take on a year?
Okay. My first surrogacy agency, which was also egg donation and surrogacy, I sold after 15 years. And this agency, Private Label Surrogacy, has been in existence since 2018. And we work with up to 60 families a year. I don't like our waiting list to be very long, so I don't work with every doctor and every fertility clinic in the US. I work with a select few.
Okay. So for any potential surrogates and IPs out there, could you please provide a summary of your benefits and services that you offer?
Yeah, we do everything from soup to nuts. So we screen we interview surrogates, we screen surrogates. Part of our screening process is having Dr. Mark review all of the records from previous pregnancies and surrogacy, previous pregnancies and deliveries. And then he can summarize what their pregnancies and deliveries were like for any potential reproductive endocrinologists, so for doctors. And we do all of the background checks, the psych evals, get the OB clearance, current test results like pap smears, do a psych eval, and that's pretty much it before we introduce intended parents to a potential surrogate.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask, actually. Like if you do all that stuff before, yeah, the matching.
Make sure that they're suitable, and it starts with the medical record review, and then we feel that if they pass medical records, they will probably do fine with the rest of the screenings. One thing that I didn't talk about was the insurance review, and we review surrogate's insurance to see if it's surrogate friendly and if it will pay for the pregnancy and delivery.
Oh, nice. Oh, so you guys do that in-house?
Yeah, well, we don't do it in-house, but we hire a company that does it.
Okay.
An
Okay.
insurance company, because we want to see if the surrogate needs insurance, and if she does, we apply for it. And we
Yeah,
want
that makes sense.
we need to be able to tell the surrogate and the parents especially what the cost will be, and if she has insurance, the costs are higher.
Right. Okay, great. Please provide an example of a time where there was an issue during the surrogacy journey and you or someone from your agency helped resolve it.
Okay. So there are a lot of bumps in the road.
Yeah.
And most surrogate journeys have some hurdles. I think the biggest hurdle is communication, and we want to make sure that intended parents and surrogates are communicating. And there have been some instances where there was some miscommunication. I mean, I don't want to go into anything devastating that has happened, but with all agencies, there are medical issues and there are emotional/psychological issues with the surrogate, and none of them are really financial or legal, because the people who handle the financials are the escrow agency that we hire, and the attorneys that intended parents and surrogates work with, who are separate, handle all of that. So parents and surrogates don't have to talk about money. They don't have to talk about legal issues, but they can talk with us about what's going on with them. Maybe a surrogate's scared. Maybe a surrogate goes into preterm labor. This happens all the time. Maybe she's got high blood pressure. Maybe she has diabetes. So it's our job, Dr. Mark and I, to interpret a lot of the medical aspects of what goes on with a pregnancy to intended parents and surrogates. Now, we aren't the doctors who are taking care of these patients, even though we're medically qualified to do a lot. We're not their treating physician or nurse. So the parents can always speak with the doctor, and the surrogate obviously has contact with the doctor all the time when she goes in.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. And then the last question for the day, what makes your agency unique? In other words, what sets you apart from the other agencies out there?
Well, I think I can answer that, but I also think Dr. Mark can answer that. And that is, I am the only person in the US that started 2 agencies, which is, it's definitely different. I started in egg donation and surrogacy, and then I sold to a bigger company thinking that that would be a good fit for me, but it wasn't a good fit. And I realized soon that I really wanted to be the head of my own agency and in control of what I was doing. So shortly after I started, I was partners with the fertility clinic. I bought them out. Some of it was due to COVID, and some of it was just due to circumstances and their inability to put as much time as they needed to into the business. But then I found Mark, and well, I didn't find Mark, but we knew each other, and we decided that it would be a really good fit for a nurse and a doctor to be at the helm of an agency, which isn't the norm in the US. Most agencies aren't medically focused. We are. And truly, once you pass the medical, things usually do work out for the best.
That's great.
And so that's great. What makes us unique? What do you think makes us unique?
Well, we have another company that we are starting. It's National Surrogate Record Review, and we're planning on having this available for other agencies because I can review records and pick out things that are critical and important to make that would determine whether a surrogate is acceptable. And it's not a very difficult task for me because of my years of going through medical records. And so I think we have that benefit right there. And then, I mean, I have a good feel for whatever needs to be done. I mean, if a surrogate doesn't have insurance, let's say, and she needs to have a hysteroscopy and a polypectomy, I have connections with, OBGYN doctors who will, if she doesn't have insurance, they have this great self-pay rate. Probably the flight and the self-pay rate will be still less than what they would normally pay for having it with not being in network or not having insurance.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
that sounds wonderful.
So one of the reasons why we started National Surrogate Record Review also was because we found there were a lot of independent known matches between intended parents and surrogates, and they didn't know really where to start, and they couldn't review the medical records. They would just send hundreds of pages to the doctor's office that were disorganized, not knowing if someone was okay, medically. So when Mark and I started talking about that, we also talked to a software engineer to develop some programming devices for us to simplify the process for us. So we work with independent intended parents, we work with agencies who need record review, and we work with fertility clinics who may not have the staff or the time to review those records because as you know, some of them are really long and really disorganized.
Yeah. Wait, so is this business like up and running and everything?
It's just about up and running.
Very close.
We've done
Very close.
websites
Yeah.
done. We just basically have to turn everything on.
Okay, amazing. That's awesome. Please let me know about it whenever it goes live.
I
Oh,
will,
that's awesome.
definitely will. Couple weeks. And then-
Okay, all right. That's great.
Yeah.
All right. So that's all the questions that I have for you guys. I really appreciate your time. And I hope you have a nice evening.
Thank you,
All
and you
right,
too.
thank you.